I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. What we have is a set of railroad tracks. Luckily for me, they're real close to the house so I can walk to them. And in my hand we have a pocket full of change. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these pennies and dimes and we're going to sit them right here on the track. And what that's going to do is when the train comes by, it should flatten them out, and then we'll shape them into some fishing lures. Well, I've got basically 3 dimes and 3 pennies. I've never done dimes before, so I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll try it. Right there on the shiny spots, and we'll see what it does. We'll come back after the train goes by, and we'll take a look at them. Okay, so it's been several hours later, and the train has already come through. And now it is the hard part. And as anybody who's ever done this before knows that when the train runs across the tracks, you usually can't find the coins without looking for them because they get thrown around and bounced around. But we're lucky because I see a dime right there, and I seen a penny stuck over here. See, there's a penny. Look how big that is. And then I also seen a penny right here. So we found 3 of the 6 coins, and I'll keep looking and see what else I can find. I was able to find 4 of the 6 coins and 3 pennies and 1 dime. It started to rain, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking for the other 2 dimes. But regardless, I really just wanted to do the pennies originally, and I put the dimes out there because I've never tried a dime before. And as you can see, they also flatten out a little bit. They're not quite as impressive as the pennies. The pennies get really big when a train runs over them, and that's exactly what we want because we're going to make this into a spoon, and we'll get into that. I think you're really going to enjoy this. So now we're going to take one of these flattened pennies, and we're going to texture it a little bit. You don't have to do this. I just think it makes it look a little more enticing to the fish, and I don't know. They always say that you want to sell your lure to the fisherman, not the fish. But I like to take a set of punches. I have an alphabet set of punches here. I like to take a D and just put little D's all up and down it. It's a capital D. And just kind of make it look like scales. And so to do that, you're just going to just place it on there and whack it with a hammer. And we'll get this textured out. This is kind of hard to see in the light, but there is a bit of a scaly texture to it. And now what we want to do is we want to curve this. And to curve it, we're going to be kind of simple. We're just going to take a spoon, and don't use your good spoons. Don't use your fine china, fine silverware. Go get you a cheap spoon from the China Mart, or go to Goodwill and get you something cheap. Actually, you're going to need 2 spoons. You're going to take this penny and lay it in the spoon like so. And you're going to take another spoon and put it on top, just like that. Then you're going to take a C-clamp and put this inside a C-clamp. You're going to put it just like that and crank it down. And when you crank this down, it's going to form that penny into a nice curve, just like a spoon that you would buy in the bass shop. Okay, I've pulled them out, and you can see it has a nice subtle curve, which is going to give a little bit of action in the water that we're going to go after. The next thing we're going to do is drill 2 holes, and we're going to take 1 hole and drill it really close to the end here, and another one really close to this end. And that's what we're going to fasten our hook and our swivel to. Now, because you're going to be drilling so close to the edge of this, I recommend you get a loaded center punch if you don't already have one. And the way these work is you put the punch right where you want it, and you shove down on it, and there's a spring and a click. And that puts a perfect little punch right where you need to put your drill bit. As you can see, I'm using a very small drill bit. I'm using a drill press. You don't have to use a drill press, it just makes it easier. Now the next thing you're going to want to find is split rings. Now you can find these in the fishing store, and they come in packs of, I don't know, 5 or 10, and you're going to pay about $3 or $4 for that pack. However, if you go to a hobby store and you search around in like the jewelry area where people make their own jewelry, you can find big packs. Like this has 240, and I think it only cost me $2. And these are 6 millimeters, 180, and I think it cost me $1.30. But that's kind of a little secret. Get them from the hobby store, don't get them from the fishing store. But what you're going to do is take a split ring and put one on each end. And one end is going to hold the hook, and one end is going to hold a swivel where you clip onto so you can fish with it. We're going to use a plain shank size number 4 hook, and I've slipped a bead on there, and we'll show you what that bead's for later. But let's talk a little about the beads. You can buy big packs of beads in the jewelry shop, in the designer section of the hobby shops, for 99 cents for a big bag of beads. If you go to the fishing section, you're going to pay 99 cents for 4 or 5 beads. So just another tip to save you money. But we're going to bend this hook a little bit, and just going to give us a little more advantage with the fish. We're kind of going to bend it into an octopus. You could use an octopus hook, but you might have a little problem. There we go. Just a little bend, just like that. And we're going to slip this bead up here, and then we'll talk about why we did that here in a little bit. But an octopus hook kind of looks like that. And you could buy an octopus hook, but I think you might have a problem getting the bead on it. Now this is just a piece of rope, that yellow nylon rope that everybody hates because when you cut it, it unthreads and you have to melt it with a match to keep it from unraveling. Well, this time you want it to unravel. In fact, there's a melted end there that I've probably done on this at one time to keep it from unraveling. We're just going to take some scissors and cut that off. And we want it to unravel because we want all these little hairs out of here. Just like that. So as you can see, we took that yellow string and we separated it and we wrapped it around the shank, and I took some kite string and I just wrapped it really tight, and then I took some super glue and let the super glue wick up on there. This is not going to come off. And then the bead, there's a bead down in here, and I glued it too, but the bead keeps these strings pulling out, so it has a nice tail. You kind of get an advantage with this too, is this almost becomes a snagless lure because the weeds just want to go right around this tail and they don't get caught on the hook. So it's just a really nice deal. And for the most part, it's done. We're going to put some finishing touches on it, and this lure is ready to catch some fish. And that's the finished lure. I did take some fingernail polish. It's kind of a reddy orange color. And I striped it a little bit. I like to use red and oranges because it makes other fish think that it's wounded. It's also a little more visibility in some of the murky water. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So get out there, flatten your pennies, and make some lures and catch some fish. Rip some lips.